Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to the Empowered Educator. I am excited to be back here with you for another week because I feel like sometimes we forget about how having a positive attitude, although sometimes seems really, really hard, can make or break everything that goes on in our world, right? So the last year, 2024, I'm telling you, it was a rough year for me. I've shared that, I think, here on the channel, but it was a rough year. And I remember waking up every day with this feeling of doom, this feeling of nothing is going to go right, but I'm going to get out of bed and I'm going to keep pushing forward. And when I finally said to myself, okay, you're already in a tough situation, you've got to change your mindset or you're going to go into a deep depression. And y'all, I felt like I probably was. And I'm not one to have typically mental health issues. Things for me, I'm a problem solver. I'm a kick-ass kind of person, right? And so this was a different feeling for me. And so I vowed to myself to wake up every day with gratitude. That no matter what awful thing was going on, that I would remind myself of all the good things that were going on in my world, all of the things that I have accomplished, and things started to shift and change. And I don't know, get a little woo-woo sometimes, but I think that we forget how positive can breed positive even in hard times. And so this morning when I woke up, because today is my daughter's birthday as I'm recording, and I get on my calendar and just do all my little things because that's a ritual we have. Um, and my quote on the calendar today says, start every day with a grateful heart. And I just felt like, oh, that's such a good reminder. It's August. It's August 9 today as I'm recording. It's hot every day, right? Someone said, oh my God, we still have 6 more weeks of summer to go. And we do in Houston. And for some of you around the country, it's hot, or around the world, wherever you're listening from. School's about to start and our days are about to get different, right? It's just life happens, lifes. And if we just stay focused on the negative, I think that can just continue to bring us down. So, yeah, just let's go into this with a positive attitude this week and let's see what changes as we work through the week. All right, having said that, this week I want to talk to you about assumptions. Now, I have a little backstory with this topic because this wasn't my planned topic for this week, but I felt like it was so important. Earlier this week, so the last 3 weeks at my school, we have been working on back to school staff development. We had a week on campus, a week with district, and then a week back on campus. 3 weeks is a lot of weeks, right? You would think. Everybody's planned and everyone's prepared, and they are. But I can also see that they are very tired. And the team that I work directly with, I said to them, both teams actually, make sure you get rest over the weekend. As a matter of fact, as a former principal, I would not open the building the weekend before school started. I refused because I had to force my staff to spend time with their family, to shut down, to be done by Friday when the building closed at 9, so that they had those 2 days to rest and rejuvenate. Now, if they took work home with them, I couldn't really control that, right? However, they weren't coming up to the building because a lot of times what was happening is they had their rooms ready, but they wanted to make adjustments. They wanted to do this, they wanted to do that, or they were feeling anxious. And they were feeling like, if I just make an adjustment here, my anxiety will feel better. When in all honesty, their anxiety would probably feel better if they were feeling rested and recovered from all of the hard work. But I also noticed that as the week kind of started to come to an end, comments may have been made that were more assumptions. We had our meet the teacher back to school little gathering, and everybody was so excited about coming back to school, right? Everybody that showed up anyway. Not everybody showed up, but we had a good turnout. And I could hear kids saying that they were excited for the new year to, work with their new teachers. And some of our teachers moved grade levels, so they're going to have the same teacher again. And then I would hear little comments that kind of made me go, where is that comment coming from? And these were comments from staff. And when you dig down deep into it and get past my assumptions, you could tell that it really was because people are tired. People have not been taking advantage of the early work time. And so now they're feeling a little bit rushed at the end, whatever it is. But I also noticed that although I had to stop myself from making assumptions, some of these comments were based on assumptions. And then this morning I got up and, it's Saturday, so I take my time getting up and just kind of enjoy my time with the dog and savor every last day I have with him. And I was listening to a podcast as I was mowing my grass and walking the dog and doing all the things. And the person on the podcast was talking about some assumptions that had been made about her and her husband. Their story was basically they were going to go purchase something, and an assumption was made that made her very upset. And as I'm in the shower, where I always do my best thinking, I was thinking about how many times as teachers do we hear someone talk about a student from their past, right? Maybe, I don't know, one of my examples is I was a third grade teacher, and the second grade teacher would always come and tell me about the awful things that were going to happen with the students that were assigned to me that next year. And I remember I had to set some boundaries, and I said to her the second year she had done that, and I said, I really want to make my own decisions about my own students. I appreciate you trying to give me a heads up, but kids change, kids mature, kids grow, and different learning environments may produce different results. And I know that this upset her because she kind of stopped talking to me, but it was a way for me to stop allowing myself to make assumptions about students. Because just think, if I would have listened to that teacher and made all my decisions based on that, kids were already going to be set up for failure. Because I was always assigned the roughest class, the lowest performing class. It was just how the principal and I had worked our deal. And how fair is that to kids? I think about my time as a turnaround principal, and I would go into campuses where things were not going well. And if I would have followed all of the assumptions, wow, this school is not performing, so the staff must not be good, right? If I would have made that assumption, I could have missed out on a whole lot of people, a whole lot of opportunities. So today, as we're talking about the beginning of the school year, preparing for back to school, getting into the first day, which for some of us, this releases on Sunday, you have one day left, right? We start on Monday. I'm wondering, how many assumptions are we making that in the end ends up affecting the success of our students? Academically, behaviorally, social, emotionally. How many times do we use our own backgrounds, what other people tell us, to form these decisions about students that may not be very fair? I really would challenge you on this, to take some time, reflect on this thought, because an average teacher goes in and does the best that they can. They take information given to them and they utilize it in a way that ensures that their class is going to be okay. But a great teacher challenges the status quo. A great teacher thinks differently, and a great teacher believes that all kids can grow and learn. But if we're making assumptions, we're not being great. We're being average. And I don't know about you. I was thinking about this the other day when I was working on social media content for the week. I spent a lot of money to get my college degree. Because of my circumstances, I had to go private, I had to take loans, and it was a lot of money. And because I'm old, there was no such thing as loan forgiveness and all of that when I finished college, right? So I paid back every single penny of those loans. And although it might seem like a little bit of drop in the bucket compared to what people are spending for their college education now, but luckily I was able to pay for my first 2 years of college, and my last 2.5 years of college ended up costing me $30,000. I know some people have way more than that, but in 1995, that was a lot of money. In 2000, that was a lot of money. And I had to pay that back. In addition to that, I had to move from one state to another to get my job. And when I got here, I had to go through certification exams that I didn't have to do in Iowa, and just in order to teach in Texas. My point is, I worked hard to be able to get my position. I don't want to just be average. I don't want my students to just be okay. I want to be known for being great and for having a huge impact on students. Now, I'm hoping, because you too had to get your college degree, you too had to get your certification, you too may have made some moves that were very costly, or even if it wasn't monetarily cost, maybe relationship costs, et cetera, et cetera. Getting to our positions, we deserve to be more than just average. So take the time and do the reflection this week. I think that it will have such an impact on how you approach this new school year and what your students actually can do. I'll leave with this story. I was a teacher, and then I moved into a specialist role, and that became a leadership position on our campus. And when we would hire new teachers or new teachers to the building, the team would always work together. So we were sitting down one summer conducting interviews. And prior to the last interview of the day, our principal shared with us that the next candidate coming in had been in another school in our district and had been told that they were not welcome to come back. And of course, our team was a bit concerned, right? Actually, we were very concerned. And our principal said, I'm a little concerned as well. However, I know a little bit about the situation. And I feel like if this candidate had an opportunity to be in a learning environment that actually supported the work and supported the staff, they may have a whole complete different trajectory. She said, so I'm asking all of us just to be open. She said, and after the interview, if you feel like absolutely no way, I'm going to respect all of your thoughts as I make my decision. So we interviewed the candidate, and it was a gentleman. Of course, that's a plus, right? Because elementary schools do not get a lot of male teachers. And honestly, as he was answering questions and talking with us, I really could tell that there was a lot of potential. But we could also tell that he had been pretty much knocked down all year. And he was very respectful for his previous school leader, did not put anybody under the bus, did not even say anything ugly about what had happened, just the mere fact that he was out looking for a position. So we sat on it a little bit, and all of us, in our thoughts and in our notes. And we came back together and we told our principal, we say yes under this condition. If we start to feel differently, that we can trust you, and we loved our principal, we can trust you to support us in that, and that you'll do the right thing and not have him continue on or continue, back the next year. And we all made the agreement and brought him on board. Now, I'm gonna be honest, people can definitely show up for an interview, right? And you have a person in an interview for a small amount of time. So we were taking a big gamble on this, but there was something in my gut that just kept saying, let's try, let's give this person a shot. And the team was feeling the same way. So as the school year got started, of course, we were all a bit leery. We did a few extra check-ins in his classroom, did a few extra questions when we were in meetings together. But it turned out that he was one of our top teachers by the end of the year. He stayed with us for a few more years and then went on to become a campus administrator, still working in the Houston area and thriving. Assumptions can get us in a lot of trouble. Assumptions can hold us and our teams back and our students back. So I really do challenge you this week. Think about your assumptions. Do the deep dive reflection so that you can take yourself from being that average teacher to becoming a great teacher by really believing that everybody has an opportunity to make change, to evolve, and to grow. All right, y'all, have an amazing week. And if it's your first week back, good luck. I hope that you rock it. Just knock it out of the park. And remember this, there will be challenges this week, but it's all about how you handle them. Don't forget to wake up with a grateful heart each and every day. I'll see you all next week right back here on Empowered Educator.